Alright folks, you may want to buckle up because I have a feeling this video might get loud occasionally. But with that said, hello everybody! Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another one of our weekly Fruits Basket The Final discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about episode 7, that's right, it's empty. But before we get into that, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AniTube know that you're here. Let's go ahead and set our like goal. I'm gonna go crazy because everybody else in this friggin' show is. So I'm gonna go with 300 likes. 300 likes before the end of the day. I'm just curious if we can do that. I'm feeling some kind of way, so we're going all in. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about this week's episode, shall we? Okay. I don't know where to start. I'm mad. I don't know about you guys, but I'm mad. And I'm not like mad as in like, ooh, this episode's bad. You know why I'm mad. Damn it, Takuya-sensei, why do you have to make me feel things? So I'm in a state after this week's episode. I'm in some kind of way because basically the crux of the episode revolves around Akito and Ren. And we'll get into the other stuff that happens. You know, there's other characters involved this week, like Kureno and Hiro, and Akira, I guess, which is surprising because we know so little about them, but they're involved here. But for the most part, it's Akito and Ren. And Ren, I've said since we really started to figure out more and more about Ren, if Akito is trash, then Ren is like a dumpster, right? Like if Akito's a trash can, Ren is a complete dumpster, right? Just like they're both garbage. Although now, after this week, Akito is also a dumpster, so yeah, that's the thing. They're both just terrible people, right? Like, I'm sorry, I know some people are gonna be like, but, no buts. I'm sick and tired of playing this. Well, I understand. No more. I may understand, but I will never forgive. I will never forget, especially after this week. There is no coming back from this. None. Ever. It's done. It's a wrap. They're both bad. Ren's always been bad. Ren probably never gonna get redemption. Akito, it was sort of up in the air, right? I was like, well, maybe. Now that I understand. Nope, it's never coming. Redemption ain't coming. And forgiveness ain't coming. Understanding is already here. I understand how Akito turned out the way that she did. Do you think, after this week, I'm going to ever forgive? Absolutely not. If you do, I'm not gonna lie, I find that weird. But you can. Yeah, I don't. No, never, ever. After all the things, like, this was just like the straw that broke the camel's back for me this week. I was like, nope, that's it. I've always thought Akito was the worst. This cements it. I just, where do I even start? Where do I even start with these two? Like, let's start with the fact that Ren and Akito were going to kill each other over an empty box. How about we start there? Like, or we, no, you know what? No, let's start there. Ren and Akito both hate each other out of resentment. Like they resent each other out of jealousy. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. This whole Ren-Akito thing, everything that has transpired in this entire show has been because of this jealousy towards each other and their inability to let go of Akira. Like, their inability to let go of the love they had for Akira. Akito's like love, like her fatherly bond, she can't let that go, and Ren can't let go of her love for Akira. I almost wonder, like, because the way Ren like approached Akira, it felt sort of like manipulative. You know what I mean? I was like, it feels like she almost manipulated him to a point. Like, it just felt weird. And the old hag was there, and I'm like, my God, like, this lady's been, I guess it makes sense, she's old, so she's been around for everything, but it's like, holy hot damn, man, she's been tormenting the Somas for decades, it seems. But Ren and Akito basically have this feud over their, like, who did Akira love the most. Which, like, this man was dying, and you guys were playing this stupid game, and in the aftermath of his death, where all he wanted was for you two to get along, you're fighting with each other. You're horrible people, and I feel so bad for Akira. Like, I feel so bad for that dude. I genuinely felt awful for him. And I really just, I can't imagine what that must have been like. Like, if he was just, like, hovering over them watching, like, his spirit's just watching this, like, yo, I said get along. What is happening? God, I felt bad for Akira. But that's what this comes down to. That's what it's always been. That's what it's always been, is jealousy. And Ren took that jealousy so far to the point where she was willing to kill Akito to get whatever was in the box of Akira's, right? And she finds this out from Shigure. Because of course she does, because Shigure is a shit. Shigure is a little shit. Except he's a grown-ass man, so he's a big shit. And he basically tells her, like, yeah, there's this box, and it has something of Akira's in there, and Akito has it, and she keeps it tucked away. And so Ren now wants to steal the box away from Akito, right? And Shigure does this because he wants to be he basically wants to be the only man in Akito's life, right? He feels like she needs to move on from this thing, like she needs to move on from Akira, and the only way he can think of to do that is to remove that box, right? To take it away, to let Ren have it. And what kills me is Shigure tells Ren that he tells Ren this, that he only, like, told her about the box so that he could be the only man in Akito's life. And just before he tells Ren that, he also tells her, oh, and by the way, I only really got with you, and I only really felt feelings for you because I was picturing what Akito would be like if you just raised her like a woman. Like, because you are, like, the female, like, version of Akito, right? Because Akito was raised as a boy. So for him, it's just like, I just wanted to know what it would be like. And it's like, Jesus, Shigure, like, what the hell is the matter with you? How did you not foresee that coming? Like, Ren is already mentally very unstable. And Shigure pulls that shit. Shigure is also a dumpster. But he's my dumpster. Like, you know what I mean? At least with the other two, it's just like, no, they're dumpsters. But with Shigure, it's like, damn it. Shigure is like a polished dumpster. A dumpster that is cleaned on the regular. But the other two are just dumpsters. But, like, Shigure is my dumpster. So I have to accept them as it is. But Shigure basically plays mind games with the mentally unwell person, Shigure, you lunatic, and basically has Ren... He doesn't, like, force her to do this, but Ren basically tries to kill Akito over this. And that's where Akito reveals, like, by the way, yeah, that box was empty the whole time. Like, it was always empty. There was nothing in it. And that's what kills me, is that Akito reveals to Ren, like, yeah, the box was empty. It was always empty. I knew that since I was a kid, and I half believed it and I half didn't. Right? Like, that it had Akito's soul in it. And Ren is, like, obviously confused by this. Because, you know, like Shigure said, like, this is box. It has something of Akito's in there. And the old hag tells the other attendant, because the other attendant's just like, oh, yeah, like, that's, like your ward's any better, right? Like, yeah, like, oh, Akito's somehow better than Ren. They're both bad, right? And the old hag's just like, how was I supposed to know? Like, anybody with common sense would know that there was nothing in the box, that it wasn't real. I only gave Akito that because their heart was breaking and I had to think of something, right? Which I can kind of sympathize with, but you know Akito's not well. You should have brought that back up at some point. But again, the old hag is also just as bad as everybody else. She's also a terrible person, so of course she doesn't bring it up. So, yeah, Ren finds out there's nothing in the box and is almost killed by Akito. Akito was likely going to stab the shit out of Ren. And then, snap. And this is where we talk about the other thing that happens. Hiro's bond breaks. How? Like, how? I don't... Okay, so when Momiji's bond snapped, I was unsure of the reason why. And when Kureno's snapped, I super didn't know why. And now Hiro snapped, and I'm even more confused than I ever was with the other two. Because Hiro wasn't even there. Like, Hiro, like... But even then, so was Momiji. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand what it is. Because, like, it comes as a total shock to Hiro. Like, Hiro's hanging out with his sister, right? Just kind of watching over, because obviously he can't pick her up or hold her or anything, because, you know, he did Soma curse, right? He turned into a Zodiac. So he sort of, like, it puts Hiro in this position where he's shocked, and he wants to be happy, but he's more so, like, you could tell he's just sort of, like, upset, right? Like, he says, like, I'm feeling a lot of mixed emotions right now. Like, I want to be happy. Because his mom walks in, and he's holding his kid sister. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is this? So he's holding his kid sister. And he says, like, I want to be happy. But I'm feeling a mixture of all these things. And he says, like he's feeling anger and all this different stuff. And, like, you can see on his face, like, he's somewhere between, like, happy and furious. And it's an interesting combination, right? Because it's like, okay, what possessed, like, what, like, I just want to know, like, what it was that caused him to turn. Because, what, not so much turn, but what caused him to snap, right? Because, like, is the snapping caused by them or by Akito themselves? Like, is Akito the one doing it? Because Hiro he was a happy little sheep boy, right? He was just a sheepy boy hanging out at home, and all of a sudden now he can pick up his sister and he doesn't turn into a sheep. Like, I don't get it, right? Like, I'm so curious. But, like, what kills me is in this moment, right? You see him, like, holding his kid sister. His mom walks in, and Hiro tells his mom, like, how he's feeling. Because Hiro, again, he's a young man, but he's my boy. And he's very mature for his age. So he's explaining to his mom, like, look, I really want to be happy, but I can't. And the mom tells him, like, it's okay. And she gives him a hug. And, again, she's probably like, oh, my God, I can hug my boy, and he doesn't turn. And she's hugging him, and she says, goodbyes are really hard. And and Akito later echoes that by saying there's so many more goodbyes to come. So it's Akito realizing, like, I'm losing them, right? Like, in this moment, Akito realizes, like, Akito doesn't go through with stabbing Ren and realizes, yeah, I'm going to lose them. Like, I'm going to lose all of them. That is some heavy stuff. Like, I'm not going to lie, I was like, I kind of felt bad for Akito in that moment, because I was like, damn. Like, because Akito is like in this position where Akito was willing to let the Somas do whatever, because she felt like in the end it didn't matter. She was oh so special that they were going to come crawling back. Only to, even in this moment where she's going to kill Ren for all the shit Ren's done to her over the years, about to kill her, and then she loses another one. And it's like, damn, I actually almost felt bad. I didn't, but I almost felt a little bad. I didn't because I was too happy for Hiro. So that's 3. Kureno, Momiji, Hiro. I don't know who the next one's going to be. I assume probably Hatsuharu, right? Like, maybe, I don't know. But even that, because, like, the one thing that the ones who are, like, leaving have in common is that Akito has, like, on screen done something horrible to them. You know what I mean? Like, Hiro has watched, well, even then, not really, because Hiro watched Akito throw Rin off the balcony, but Rin's still attached by the curse, right? So, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm trying to find a through line, and I'm having a hard time. But speaking of the people who have broken the curse, and speaking of Akito, let's talk about the thing that happens. Let's talk about Kureno. So Kureno once again goes to comfort Akito, which he really doesn't have to. Like, I just want to stress that. Kureno doesn't have to be doing the things he's doing. I do think that Kureno is sort of, like, Akito's not wrong when she says that Kureno is kind of enabling her, right? It's like a little bit, right? Like, and not even a little bit, he is, right? But I get why he's doing that. Kureno is just, he's a sweet dude. Like, he has a good heart, and it's led him astray, right? Like, his heart's too big for its own good. Like, he just cares too much, right? Like, he can't leave. Even though the curse is broken for him, he can't actually do anything or go anywhere. Like, he still feels connected to Akito even though the curse is broken, because he just felt so bad, right? Like, he felt so bad for her. Because, like, Kureno's the first instance where Akito realizes she might not be quite as special as she thinks she is, right? And that broke her. It didn't just hurt her, it broke her. And Kureno noticed that, and he stuck around because of it. However, Kureno in this moment tells Akito, like, it's because Akito says, like, how am I supposed to know? Like, I don't, like, this is my common sense, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it doesn't take much to know that you're being a jerk. I'm sorry, but no, that's a shitty excuse. Like, you're actively abusing people. I don't care what world you're in, you know that that's wrong. Like, anybody knows that that's wrong. Come on. Like, you know it's wrong. Look at the reactions of people around you, you know that's wrong. So don't even give me that shit. Like, don't even. Like, you know that it's wrong. And you're just digging the hole deeper because you just don't know the way out. Even though the way out is to just get out of the hole. You know what I mean? Just leave. You're the one who's making it worse. Alright, so I don't know. Like, Akito just frustrates the shit out of me. But Kureno tries to tell Akito, you know what? It's not too late to change. And I was like, yes, Kureno's right. It's not. Because in that moment, I was like, you know what, Akito? You genuinely could. Like, I don't think I'll ever forgive you. I probably won't. But I would still want you to have a happy ending by the end of this story. You know, like, I would be willing to see that. Right? Like, I was like, he's right. It's not too late to change. You still can fix this. It's not too late yet. You haven't, tried to kill any. I mean, you almost tried to kill Ren, but who cares about Ren? You haven't actually, committed attempted murder yet. So it should be fine. And then Akito stabs Kureno in the back like a coward. Yeah, so that happens. For old time's sake. Just because I haven't done this in a while. Fuck Akito! I haven't done that in a while, but fuck Akito! I'm so done. All of you telling me, like, no, Akito redemption. You're dumb. You're so dumb. No. I refuse. You cannot tell me you can come back from stabbing somebody in the back like a coward. You cannot come back from the repeated awful crap Akito has done. There is no coming back. I don't care what problems you had. At some point, you become the monster. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. You either redeem yourself or you stab Kureno in the back. Do you understand why? Do you understand why I'm mad? Do you understand why I can't forgive? Because it's rare, right? But by this point in the story, it seems like everybody's in the same boat where they're like, there is no forgiveness for Akito. Like, 95% of people. But every so often, I see the 5% of Akito stans rise up in my comment section and tell me that I'm a bad person. Because Akito's clearly been through so much. Yeah, so has every other... So is, like, Aizen. So is, like Dio. So is, like, every other villain in anime. They've all been through crap. There's still bad people. Cell from Dragon Ball has been through some shit. Like, everybody. Like, all I'm thinking of, and I hate to say this, but I think about this regularly, And, like, when I see anime villains who are like, I must avenge this fallen person and it made me go down a dark path, I hear Rocket Raccoon in my head going, everybody's got dead people! Like, everybody has baggage. Everybody. Like, everybody has issues, right? It doesn't give you license to be an asshole. So, like, no. There is no forgiveness. Akito at this point could have killed Kureno. There's no forgiveness. There's no coming back from that. I genuinely hope something happens to Akito. Like, I hope they get locked up or something. It's not gonna happen, because Kureno's not gonna press charges, and the Soma estate's not gonna press charges. So that's not gonna happen. And for all I know, Kureno might be dead. I certainly hope not. Like, I'm really hoping not. But think of the way it ends. Like, it ends with Uo and her coworker. So we see Kureno fall in the rain, because it's got to be dramatic, because Takuya-sensei wants to break my heart. But Kureno falls in the rain, and Uo and her coworker stumble across this dead bird. And they're trying to figure out how it died, and Uo says, were you just tired? Dead bird, were you just tired? Guess who that's in reference to? Just guess. One shot in the dark. You get one guess. Yeah, of course it's Kureno. Is he dead? If Kureno's dead, I will lose my shit. Like, if Kureno's dead, I want Akito's head on a spike. Like, if Kureno's dead. If not, then I don't even know. I don't know. By the way, because I haven't said this in a while, I feel like during every big Akito performance I bring this up, but it bears repeating. Can Maya Sakamoto just get all the awards? Just like all of them, all the awards? My God, Sakamoto is a genius. She's so good, right? Isn't she so good? Like, every line that comes out of Akito, it's like so good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything that Akito says, it just makes, like, ooh, you just want to punch her in the face. But it's delivered expertly by Maya Sakamoto. She's a brilliant actress. Like, to me, Maya Sakamoto is the toppest of top tiers. I will never get over how good her performance as Akito is. It's so good. Like, it's so good because she's so evil, right? Like, she's so bad. But Maya Sakamoto plays her so well. Like, it makes it even... If you gave this role to a lesser Seiyu, it wouldn't hit as hard. Like, Maya Sakamoto is so good at what she does. And by the way, in the hands of a less talented writer, Akito would not be anywhere near as compelling. Takuya-sensei has to be one of the most talented authors I have ever seen. Like, the way that they write these characters is insane. The direction from Yoshihide Ibata-sensei. My God. Keep in mind, too, Ibata's, like, I'm shocked by how brilliant of a director Ibata is. And the only other thing I know him from outside of Fruits Basket is Attack on Titan Junior High. Junior High! Not even Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan Junior High. Even like Taku Kishimoto, who is like the series composition. Kishimoto, look, I will say that if you don't know what series composition is, it's basically the series comp is just the guy who writes the scripts, right? So series comp are usually in charge of either creating the script for an original anime, or they are the person in charge of adapting a manga into anime form. I will say, I think Kishimoto did a better job with seasons 1 and 2. I think he's doing brilliantly with season 3, but I kind of wish they got the full 25. I will say, as much as I'm loving the final, and I really am, it feels very... like, it feels like we're not getting room to breathe. I talked about this I saw Flora Red bring this up. I've seen other people bring this up, and I talked about this with Flora very briefly on Twitter. But, and I assume we'll likely all talk about this again in the future. Like, I'm very curious what Allie thinks as well, and what John thinks as a fellow anime only, and Sun and everybody, when we eventually do, like, the Fruits Basket final thoughts big podcast thing. That this final season feels like there's no room to breathe. Feels like it's just like, this happens, and this happens, and this happens, this happens, right? Like, there's so much that happens. Keep in mind, there's so much that happens that I haven't even talked about the Kyo and Toru thing, and honestly, this video is going on for so long, I don't think I'm gonna have the time. Like, I just have to save that, because so much has happened. And I'm still just, I'm not gonna lie, my mind's too focused on whether or not Kureno's alive or dead. And I'm too pissed at Akito to even really go into the Kyo Toru thing. And it's not like we learn anything really new anyway. Like, Kyo sees his mom, he sees Kyoko, and like, I just, like, it's more of, it's like we get a little bit more extended scenes, but we still don't know what happened. And I've seen so many people that are like, did everybody forget that we know what happened to Kyoko? Like, she got hit by a car? No shit, Sherlock. Like, I know she got hit by a car, but we don't know the circumstances as to which that happened. Kyo's there, above her body. My thought is, like, did he get involved somehow, and was he accidentally responsible for it? And, like, on top of that, too, I don't know if any of you guys forgot, but the rest of the planet doesn't know that that Kyo can turn into a giant devil cat, and that getting hit by him probably hurts about as much as a car. I don't know if you guys forgot that. Also, I don't know if you've ever heard of a retcon, or I don't know if you've ever heard of, like, misdirection. Maybe let anime-onlys learn this shit on their own. Sorry to rant, but I felt that coming. But yeah, everything with Kyo at the tail end of this week's episode, or at the beginning of this week's episode and the tail end, it's like, okay, I want to know how the rest of that scene played out where Toru was just screaming at Kyo from last week. We don't pick up with that. Kyo just wakes up in his room asleep. So that's a thing that happens. But like, and they're just like making food like nothing happened. I'm like, y'all, please check on Kyo. But like, yeah, I don't know what happened with Kyoko and Kyo. We don't know yet. We know that Toru might tell Kyo how she feels, but he's very distant right now. And he feels like, how could I delude myself into thinking that Toru could love me, right? It's like, God damn it. Because I've talked about this before where it's like, I get it. Like, with other shoujo romances, I'm like, just tell each other how you feel, right? But in this case, it's like, I get it. There's so much trauma. It's difficult to wade through it to even tell each other how you feel, because you feel, especially with Kyo, we see in his, like, nightmare dream, like, nightmare dream? Same thing, JoJo, Jesus. His nightmare, that his mom is like, let's go home together, and it's the cat cottage, right? It's like, how about we don't? How about let's not? So that happens, and he sees Kyoko, but then where she was, he sees his hands covered in blood, and Toru's there. And it's like, okay, like, this is becoming like a Bobby Singer from Supernatural, you break everything you touch type situation, where it's like, no, you know what, Kyo, you don't break everything you touch. You are not you're not a monster, okay? You are Kyo Soma, okay? You're my boy, and you're a good boy, and you don't deserve the mental torture that you've been through. And let Toru tell her she loves you, so you can say it back and maybe break this curse, and you don't have to go to the cat cottage. You can fight it together. Okay. I've had enough fruits basket for today. I've had enough. I'm tired. I'm tired. My heart hurts. My head hurts. There's too much drama. This final season is packed too tight. There's too much drama. I need to rest. I need to go play some Mass Effect or something. I might stream later. By the time you see this, it'll be the next day, but maybe I'm streaming after you see this video. I don't know. Check Twitter. I need rest. Sorry. I feel like I'm going insane. But with that said, thanks so much for watching, everybody. That's today's video. Don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, comment. Don't forget the like goal. I think it's like 300. I don't even remember what I said. I'm broken. Before we go, though, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names. And hey, if you'd like to join these beautiful people, make sure that you hit that join button, or you could do that $1 Patreon. It helps. I'm so tired, man. Thank you. Thank you, T Squadron. Okay. That's it. Is Kureno dead? Okay, bye.